Howdy, all Molax Lives. I think it's time to play a little Better Than Wolves. Alright, let's get some food in here. Okay, what's the outside look like? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? I think it's probably nighttime. I rushed back to get those eggs. And then I cracked up my eggs. So, it should be... You guys got food in there? Oh, it doesn't look like you guys got food in there. You guys stop screwing up the food? Okay. Woo, I almost fell in with the wolves. That would not have been good. Alright, we're gonna keep working on my map. Which isn't helping me get my eggs. But I guess we got some more little chickens need to grow up anyways, so. What the hell? Oh, and it's raining too. Gross. I didn't look at the clock on the wall to see what time it was. Go back and look to see what time it was. Yeah, because got busy this weekend. Didn't get a chance to do my normal recording sessions. I get done with work till late Friday afternoon, and then I got out and did some yard work, which I don't enjoy. I am looking forward to shutting everything down yard work wise here pretty quick. I think that's morning coming. Oh no, it got smaller. Dude, we're not even at midnight yet. Oh. Awful. Well, you know what we can do? We'll run down and check the mob trap and see if we got any zombie meats or iron things. And then you know, so by the time that was all done, I think I played some Abiotic Factor with one of the guys I game with on Friday night, and then and then Saturday my niece had a party. Well, had a party. My niece had one of her friends over, and they wanted to watch scary movies. And so they couldn't get anybody to watch scary movies with them because, I don't know, they're all afraid of scary movies. So we watched scary movies because I like scary movies. And so we watched, what did we watch? First we watched The Thing, because my niece says that's her favorite scary movie, which is a good choice. I too really like The Thing. If you're gonna choose one, choose a good one, and that's a good one. Okay, looks like I probably used some more sugar and some more bone meal in there. What are you doing? Nothing. And shut up. Bone meal. Bone meal. Uh-oh. Hey, buddy, I'm not seeing any sugar in here. He says. There's no sugar here. There's just mean dog. And then oh, and I turned all my sugar into paper. And then we watched, apparently her friend watched all the Scream movies. So they want to watch through the Scream movies. So then we watched Scream, which wasn't too bad. I've seen it at least once before, and it held up pretty well. Sometimes you get in there to watch them old movies, and you're just like, ugh, how did I even like this? But it actually turned out decent. I still enjoyed it, and then oh no, that Friday. That might have been Friday night. That's what I did Friday night. And then Saturday we watched the new Salem's Lot movie. Oh, it was Salem's Lot. Oh man, I was talking in my other video about I'd watched a movie and it felt like they just shoved scenes together. Oh, this is the wrong door. And I'm really disappointed with modern movie making because it doesn't feel like they want to build up to anything anymore. And so everything is just scene after scene after scene. Oh, there's like no sugar here. And so it's it's a little disappointing. Cause okay, Salem's Lot is an old Stephen King book. Okay. And so what happens, spoilers, is a vampire comes to a town, and then the handful of people have to band together to fight back against the vampire. And so it's got some of my favorite vampire moments in it. I really love Salem's Lot has this awesome thing where they talk about crucifixes and stuff like that. And the vampire isn't affected by just a crucifix. And so there's this whole thing where they build up how the priest doesn't believe in anything. And so he just sees being a priest as a job, and so he does his job, but he doesn't believe in what he's saying. And so when he gets confronted by the vampire later in the book toward the end, then the vampire just takes the cross from him and is like, this is a beautiful object, but it's just an object if there's no faith behind it. And then he kills the priest. And I love that, how the priest doesn't have faith, and so it doesn't mean anything. And since there's no meaning, it doesn't affect the vampire. And so I always think that's really cool. And so I'm like, ooh, Salem's Lot. I get to see the part where he confronts the priest, right? And so oh yeah. The priest in Salem's Lot doesn't get any build up to that moment. Like, there's no reason in that movie for you to think that priest doesn't have faith. And it just made me disappointed. Like, the closest they came was at the very beginning of the movie. The main character is this guy who's an author. So the author is being shown around the town by this girl, and or woman. And so listen, I use girl and woman interchangeably in my thought process, okay? And so girl, female, woman, they all are the same thing in my head. And so she takes him to the drive-in because the movie or the story set in I think the 70s. And so they go to this drive-in, and when they're at the drive-in, she's telling him all about all the people, and so one of the people she mentions is the priest. And so when she talks about the priest, she just says that he comes to the movies every week, and he sits in his car and he drinks till he's drunk. That's it. That's their whole that's their whole thing. That's the only thing. The only point in the whole movie where they indicate that the priest isn't a good priest. The only time, because every other time they show him, he's doing his priestly things. He gives a whole speech about how he believes, and how, the young people just see it as trappings of the religion, but he knows there's meaning behind it. And then when he gets confronted by the vampire, their crucifixes glow in the story. And so he gets confronted by the vampire. He pulls out his cross, and his cross is glowing. And and so I'm like, what is going on? And so the vampire talks to the priest, and he's like, you might, I don't remember exactly what they say, but you're not prepared to deal with me, vampire. Basically, I'm a priest. And the vampire goes, "Are you?" And then his cross goes out, and then he kills the priest. And I'm like, what did you just do to my favorite part of this story? This wasn't a little thing. This was a big thing. And you just made it stupid and took out any kind of connection between the scenes with this priest. And you left out how he doesn't actually believe. It's a whole thing in the book about how he secretly doesn't believe. And you did away with it. And I was just so disappointed. I was so disappointed that they did that. Uh, it's like listening to people talk about talk about Dune, right? I I'm a I'm a starving boy. I'm a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of. I enjoy Dune. And so I've read. I don't know if I've read all the books, but I've read all the Frank Herbert books, and I've read a lot of the books by his son, which people don't like, but I enjoyed. And I mean, they're not as good as the original Dune. But Dune gets really weird and not as enjoyable later on in the story, anyway. So, um, you know, I actually have a lot of Frank Herbert books. I've read a lot of his stuff. He has a couple of really crazy series, and I rather enjoy I think it's called the Jesus Incident. Is it called the Jesus Incident? He's got one called the Jesus Incident. He's got one called the Lazarus Effect. Um, he's got this really crazy sci-fi uh, story where the AI on a spacecraft becomes sentient, and basically rewrites the universe with its newfound powers. Um, I believe that's the Jesus Incident, and then the Lazarus Effect is related to that. And there's just this weird planet where some of the people are mutants, and they're connected to the planet in abnormal ways, and so they have to bring together these two people to save the planet, if I remember correctly. It's been years since I read it. I vaguely remember that's how it went up. But anyways, Dune is one that drives me crazy when people talk about it, because I feel like they don't get it right either. Um, I hate. So in the first book of Dune, right, you've got the main character Paul, right? I'm sure everybody's aware of Paul at this point, and so Paul is the ultimate creature that has been, don't get me, don't get me, don't get me, that has been carefully genetically designed through selective breeding of humans to create a person who is capable of seeing the future and the past through genetic memories, basically. And so it really bothers me. Well, it doesn't bother me, but it really irritates me. There we go. It irritates me a little bit when I hear people go, well, Paul doesn't have any powers. I'm like, what are you talking about? Last time I checked, the ability to see the future is a power. And otherwise, there's no point in half of what goes on in that book. Why would Paul take the water of life if he didn't have powers? There was no reason. I also don't like that in the later books, Paul regrets the decisions he made. But in the initial book, he's got plans and he's following through on those plans. And so then they're like, oh, he wasn't a hero, but he was kind of in the first book. And I get that in the later books they debase that understanding, but in the first book, if you only have the first book and you've only got the first movie, then you gotta know that Paul is everything that you're saying he's not. He's a hero with powers, who overthrows the Harkonnen using the suppressed ooh. I've got words in my head and I don't know if they're the right words. Why can't I think of what they're called? The Fremen. There we go. Didn't bring my thing. I don't know what time it is. I'm afraid to go out there in my boat because I think it might be too late to take my boat out near all the squid. And because it's raining, because it's always got to be something that I can't tell what's going on. I can't tell. But anyways, I don't know how I got off onto Dune when I was talking about, how they ruined the story. Right. Yeah. Dune's one that irritates me. I'm not gonna lie. Dune irritates me. I have not seen the second of the new movies because I didn't like what they had done in the first movie. I mean, it's a hard thing. It's a hard line to walk. I don't care how you adapt a story, okay? But you can't spit out that you're going to be more true than anyone ever before to the author's intentions. And then change stuff drastically. You can't, okay? Oh, look, now the sun is out and I can see. And so the first Dune movie is one of those things where they're just like, you're gonna see the most true representation, and then I'm like, this isn't like the books. And I don't mean like, I get it. There's too much that goes down in books. You can't have everything that's in the book in the movie, and so you have to adapt. That's why they're called adaptations. And so there will be some subtle differences, slim down plot lines. I expect all that. I expect it's getting really dark really fast here. Oh, that's because it's a new moon. And so I expect that kind of stuff. But what I don't like is where you're like, that old movie? Well, that old movie was stupid, and we're going to do it right. We're going to show you how to do it. And then you just change major things. Not minor things, major things from the original book. And then just be like, our movie is better. No, it's different. I don't know that it's any better. I love the first Dune movie, the original goofy one. I love it, and it's more accurate to the book in many instances than the new one. And they cut out whole plot lines or whole plots, and they rearrange things. And I feel like the dude didn't understand the book like he thought he did. Um, I don't know. It gets crazy. It's like watching some Batman stuff. I'm a huge fan of Batman. I will say I'm a huge fan of Batman. I'm probably as big a fan of Batman as I am of Godzilla. And and so, you know, sometimes I watch stuff, I'm just like, they didn't get Batman right. They did not get Batman right. Uh, or Superman. I always feel like they never understand Superman. And then people have these sayings, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is deep." What's the one I think is I totally disagree with is the um it's something like Batman puts on a costume to be a superhero because that's what he thinks a superhero should wear. And Superman puts on a costume to be Clark Kent because that's what he thinks humans are. I'm like, that is that is you do not understand. You do not understand Superman. It's not like Power Girl, right? Power Girl puts on a costume to pretend to be an earthling. Superman was raised from a baby in Kansas. Superman is as earthling as you can be. Okay? That's not his costume. That's actually him. When he puts on his costume, he's Superman. Because he truly is Clark Kent. Uh, and Batman's the opposite. Batman is actually Batman. Bruce Wayne is his costume. That's why Bruce Wayne is a playboy billionaire because Batman is not. And but Clark Kent is Superman. That's who he is. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so that yeah, we watched that and then we watched Scream 2, which I didn't remember. Scream 2 is not as good as Scream 1 for sure. But they said they had fun watching those scary movies because nobody else would watch scary movies with them. I love scary movies. I love the original Thing. Well, not the original Thing. I love the 1982 The Thing. The other original one's like an old 1950s weird movie called The Thing from Another World. It's not as good as The Thing. It's been so long since I've seen the modern prequel movie they made. I don't even remember if that was any good or not. I don't think it was good. I don't think it was bad, but I think it was really mediocre compared to the original The Thing. Oh man. You know, I feel like when I'm waiting for it to get daytime, it takes forever. But when it is daytime, it goes by so fast that I can't get anything done. Ugh, look at all that disgusting jungle that I didn't get mapped down there. Disgusting. Yeah, so looking at my map, you can see the thick dark green sections. Uh, and so below me is a huge jungle, and then to the left of that is another huge jungle on the left side of the map, and then the northwest corner of my map, if this direction is north, and then this direction would be west. Direction would be west. You can see the northwest is another jungle. How much jungle do you need? And then there on the left, you can see the little brown lump that is my base. Tucked into that little hill. Dude, I was looking at my map. Nobody invited you. Another one? I think that was a pair of spiders. So much jungle. Yeah, not too much more of this, and then I'll, get back to my chickens. I needed a break from the chickens. I've been working on that chicken stuff for so long, and I don't know if it's even going to work. And I've run down my number of chickens so low that I just don't have no chickens. Not that I'm willing to part with. What am I looking at? Like blocks right there in the sky? Look at right there and right there. I can see behind it. Kind of looks like there's a tree there. Are those tree trunks? There's just like a hill in front of me that's not loaded in. The place looks like that, so I don't know what's going on. Nope, I think those are just... Oh, they're just blocks in the sky. Now it's getting light. Never mind, that's not a tree. That's just weird blocks in the sky. Cactus or a skeleton? Can't tell. Go from the dark edges there. Map is also very hilly. I've noticed. Very, very big hills. And very full of jungle. Which is terrible, because jungle is the worst. Big, big. Well, I think it's probably about that their time. Yeah, speaking of time, I didn't finish my thing. I got zero time to record because of everybody hanging out and watching shows with me this weekend. And it's Sunday nights we do a game with the group that I game with, and then all Sunday afternoon, my sister was down here. We were watching Tulsa King, and then um, the Saturday and Friday, going backwards, was my niece was down here with her friend, and we were watching scary movies. I'm like, oh, they ate up, and then also all the yard work. I went out and worked on the yard on Sunday and Saturday and Friday, and I'm just like, oh man, I got no time to record. And so now here we are, Monday night after work. Haven't even eaten dinner yet. It's almost 10 o'clock. Here I am recording. Only because I enjoy it. Get down here. Without falling to my death. Try not to fall into a crevice. I see a crevice come up here. Oh, but it's not that deep. The other day I stepped off of one of those, thought I was a dead man. Alright, well, with that, I am gonna call it a day. Don't be bearing the small things. Lean to the light. We'll talk to you later.